The Story of Ferrari. An Italian Legend. A Graded Reader, Level B1. Chapter 1, A Boy from Modena. The story begins in Modena, a city in northern Italy, in February 1898. Enzo Ferrari was born during a heavy snowstorm. His father, Alfredo, had a small metal workshop. Enzo was not a very good student. He didn't like books much. He had three big dreams: to be an opera singer, a sports journalist, or a racing driver. In 1908, when Enzo was 10 years old, his father took him to a car race in Bologna. The noise, the smell of the fuel, and the incredible speed of the cars changed his life forever. At that moment, Enzo knew he didn't want to sing or write. He wanted to race. However, life was not easy. During the First World War, Enzo's father and his brother, Dino, both died from illness. Enzo himself became very sick and almost died. When the war ended, he was alone and had no money. He went to Turin to look for a job at Fiat, the biggest car company in Italy, but they told him no. It was one of the most disappointing days of his life. Chapter 2, The Prancing Horse. Enzo did not give up. He finally found work as a test driver for a small company. Soon, his talent was noticed by Alfa Romeo, a famous racing brand. In the 1920s, Enzo became a successful driver for them. In 1923, after winning a race in Ravenna, Enzo met the mother of Francesco Baracca. Baracca had been a famous Italian pilot in World War I who died in battle. On the side of his airplane, he had painted a black horse. His mother told Enzo, "Ferrari, put my son's prancing horse on your cars. It will bring you luck." Enzo added a yellow background, the color of his hometown, Modena, and the cavallino rampante, the prancing horse, became his symbol. By 1929, Enzo realized he was better at organizing than driving. He started his own team, called Scuderia Ferrari. They didn't build their own cars yet, they raced Alfa Romeos. Under Enzo's leadership, the team became the best in Italy. Chapter 3, The Birth of a Legend. During World War II, racing stopped. Enzo's workshop in Modena was bombed, so he moved his operations to a small town nearby called Maranello. This would become the permanent home of Ferrari. After the war, Enzo decided it was time to stop using Alfa Romeo cars. He wanted to build his own car. In March 1947, the first real Ferrari, the 125S, drove out of the Maranello factory gates. It had a powerful V12 engine. Enzo was 49 years old. Most people are thinking about retirement at that age, but Enzo was just starting. In 1951, Ferrari achieved something incredible. At the British Grand Prix, a Ferrari driver named Froilan Gonzalez beat the powerful Alfa Romeo team. When Enzo saw his cars win, he cried. He said, "I have killed my mother," because he felt he had finally defeated the company that gave him his start. Chapter 4, Formula One and International Glory. In 1950, a new competition started, Formula One. Ferrari is the only team that has competed in every season since then. Throughout the 1950s, Ferrari became the name to beat. Drivers like Alberto Ascari became world champions in the red cars. But Enzo Ferrari was a difficult boss. He was often called the Drake or the engineer. He didn't care much about the comfort of his drivers or the luxury of the road cars he sold to the public. To Enzo, the road cars were just a way to make money so he could continue his real passion, racing. "I build engines and attach wheels to them," he used to say. Because the cars were so fast and expensive, they became symbols of the jet set. Movie stars and kings wanted to own a Ferrari. This made the brand famous all over the world, even among people who didn't follow racing. Chapter 5, Tragedy under the Saturn of Maranello. Despite the success, the 1950s and 60s were dark years for Enzo. Racing was very dangerous. Many of his best drivers died in terrible accidents. Some people in Italy even called Enzo Saturn, after the Roman god who ate his own children, because so many of his drivers died in his machines. The biggest tragedy, however, was personal. Enzo's son, Dino, died in 1956 at the age of 24 from a muscular disease. Dino was an engineer and was designing a new engine when he died. Enzo was heartbroken. For the rest of his life, he wore a black tie to remember his son, and he often visited Dino's grave before going to work. He named a series of cars Dino in his honor. Chapter 6: The War with Ford. By the mid-1960s, Ferrari was struggling financially. Building racing cars was becoming very expensive. In 1963, the American company Ford tried to buy Ferrari. Henry Ford II wanted to win the famous 24 Hours of Le Mans race, and he thought buying Ferrari was the easiest way to do it. At the last minute, Enzo Ferrari walked out of the meeting. He realized that if he sold to Ford, he would lose control of his racing team. He insulted Henry Ford II, and the Americans were furious. Henry Ford II told his engineers, "Go and build a car that will crush Ferrari." This led to a famous battle on the track. For several years, Ford and Ferrari fought for dominance at Le Mans. This story became so famous that they even made a Hollywood movie about it many years later. Eventually, Enzo realized he needed a partner to survive. In 1969, he sold 50% of his company to Fiat, the same company that had refused to give him a job in 1918. However, the agreement was special. Fiat would manage the road cars, and Enzo would stay in total control of the racing team. Chapter 7: The Last Masterpiece. As Enzo got older, he became a recluse. He rarely left Maranello or Modena. He always wore dark sunglasses, even indoors. He was a legend, but he was also a man from a different time. In 1987, to celebrate 40 years of the company, Enzo ordered his engineers to build the best car in the world. The result was the Ferrari F40. It was the last car Enzo ever approved. It was made of carbon fiber, had no carpets or radio, and was incredibly fast. It was a racing car for the road. Enzo Ferrari died on August 14, 1988, at the age of 90. The news of his death was not made public until 2 days later, at his request, to make up for the fact that his birth registration had been late due to the snowstorm in 1898. Chapter 8: The Modern Era and Michael Schumacher. After Enzo's death, many people wondered if the company could survive without its leader. For a few years, the racing team struggled. They did not win a world championship for a long time. Then, in the mid-1990s, a new leader named Luca di Montezemolo took over. He hired a young German driver named Michael Schumacher. Together with a brilliant team of engineers, they created the most successful period in Ferrari history. From 2000 to 2004, Schumacher and Ferrari won 5 world championships in a row. The Red Baron became the face of the brand for a new generation. Conclusion: more than a car. Today, Ferrari is one of the most powerful brands on Earth. They build SUVs like the Prancing and hybrid supercars like the LaFerrari. But the heart of the company is still in Maranello. Thousands of fans, known as the Tifosi, still dress in red every Sunday to watch the Formula One races. They don't just support a team, they support a history of passion and the memory of a boy from Modena who refused to listen when the world told him no. Enzo Ferrari once said, "The best Ferrari is the one that has not been built yet." This spirit of looking to the future while respecting the past is why the prancing horse continues to race. The end.